Hey, Mark Harrington here, friends, coming to you from Manhattan. We are in front of the formerly known as the Margaret Sanger Planned Parenthood abortion facility here. This is a sad and tragic day because right behind me in this building, babies are dying. Now, I know as a pro life activist, someone that's been doing this for many years, like myself, that doesn't come as, that happens every single day in America. But we need to keep this in front of ourselves. In fact, every time we come to an abortion center, we need to know that life and death decisions are being made at this very moment for the children who are inside this abortion center. And so be in prayer for us as we're out in front of this Planned Parenthood. This was the original Planned Parenthood, 1923. It was founded by Margaret Sanger, who's the founder of Planned Parenthood. And it was called the American Birth Control Research Center back then. It wasn't called Planned Parenthood. But long before abortion was even legalized or decriminalized in America, Margaret Sanger set up this center right here in Manhattan. So they've been operating for almost 100 years, believe it or not, from this location. So again, we're out front of the Planned Parenthood as part of our road trip with the interns this summer. And right next to me is Tori Bliss, and Tori has handled most of all of the logistics. She's the one that set up the trip this week in Manhattan. So I want to get a rundown from her, and then we're going to go around and interview a few people. So Tori, tell us about what we did yesterday, what we're going to do today, and then the rest of the week.
Well, yesterday we went to Dr. Emily's Women's Health Center, which is an abortion mill in the Bronx, and then we went to Central Park and conducted an urban outreach in Columbus Circle. It went great. We were able to reach a lot of people today.
Stop there. For the first time in about 5 years, I got spit in the face, but that's just a side note. Go ahead.
Today we're at the Margaret Sanger Center this morning for sidewalk counseling, and then we'll be heading to an urban outreach somewhere in Manhattan. Tomorrow morning we'll be back at Dr. Emily's. It's a killing day, so all day long they'll be doing walk-in abortions and nothing else. And then we'll be going to Times Square, conducting outreach there. And then on Thursday, we'll be doing Wall Street outreach somewhere on Wall Street.
And we want to thank Chris Slattery for Expectant Mother Care for giving us accommodations this week, the housing there in the Bronx. So we're all staying in one house. We have two sections, females at the top, males at the bottom. So we've been being able to be in one place all week long. Again, we're in front of the Planned Parenthood here, no longer called the Margaret Sanger Center by Planned Parenthood. But if you pan over a little bit to my right, maybe you can see that the city of New York has yet to remove the Margaret Sanger street sign there. They call this Margaret Sanger Square. What a great thing, right? That the arch racist Margaret Sanger, who called African Americans human weeds, has her own square in New York City. Hopefully that won't be there for much longer. If you recall last year with the Black Lives Matter and all the riots, with all of that, towards the end of that, there was a lot of pressure put on Black Lives Matter as an organization to remove from Planned Parenthood here the name Margaret Sanger. They did that. And in my view, that's a good thing, but it was also just really to save face because they have yet to renounce Margaret Sanger altogether as the racist that she is and was. And until that happens, we really shouldn't count that as much of a victory. But for now, at least, it's no longer called the Margaret Sanger Center. If you would, Christian, pan to the right here. We have Father Fidelis is here today as well. And Father Fidelis, just a couple of weeks ago, was at a Red Rose Rescue. He rescued in Cuyahoga Falls, Ohio. So he's here with us as well. All right, we're going to move around and see if we can get some people on camera. So come on over here, Christian. So right here, Christian, we have we have one of our volunteers, or I guess one of our interns, Audrey Whipple, talking to one of the Planned Parenthood escorts, if you will. She's out here taking video. She doesn't seem like she's interested in conversation, but we always try to talk to the clinic workers and get them to change their mind and find a different occupation. And so we're constantly witnessing to them to let them know they don't need to do this. They can go do something else. A couple of weeks ago, I interviewed Carol Everett. And Carol Everett said that most abortion workers do this because they're trying to cope with the guilt of their own abortions, generally speaking. That's why they work at these places. They don't really want to work here, but that's what they feel like they got to do to kind of deal with their own abortions, to get other people to do it as well. And that in some ways justifies them doing it. So I'm not certain that's the case with this young lady here, but it often is the case. Okay, so let's cross over here. Oh, before we do, right here, see, if you would. So we have a young lady from Love Life, and I think a lot of people know the ministry Love Life. They're here today as well, and they do great work all across America, and they have a pro-life presence out here today. And there's a counselor from Love Life that's been talking to this young lady who is Hispanic, and she's been interpreting her English through a Spanish app, which has been really interesting to watch. And if you are a sidewalk counselor, you should have the Spanish app on your phone so you can English can be interpreted to Spanish speakers. And that's what she's been doing here for almost an hour now. This is a young lady right here is thinking about going into the abortion center, but yet has done that. So keep praying that she would not go inside. All right, we're going to cross over. So here we are again. She's passing out information. Let's turn right here. So hopefully she's not going to go inside. All right, so over here, Christian. Go this way. So this young lady behind me right here again is considering abortion. So be in prayer for her that she would not go inside. I don't know if that's her boyfriend or not, but he's the one that brought her here. So as you can tell, women are going inside. Unfortunately, the escorts are ushering them into the death pit. Honestly, I don't think they're used to this kind of a presence out here today. If you're interested in commenting on what we're doing here in New York City, especially here at the Planned Parenthood in Manhattan, you can go ahead and put your comments in the comments section of our Facebook page. We'll have somebody reply to you about what we're doing here in New York City this week with our interns. This is their annual road trip. We've done this 10 years straight now. We'll be here another 4 days. So, all right, I'm going to interview these gentlemen. All right, hey, listen. Okay, all right. So I wanted to interview JD, right? JD. So you're here regularly, JD, right, at the Planned Parenthood?
Something like that. I usually frequent other Planned Parenthoods. There's one in Queens that I sent some of my brothers and sisters to go to. And
she's going inside, I think. Unfortunately, she's going inside. See this? After all of that, after an hour of talking to her, I tell you, man, we do our best. We give them the information. We pray for them. She was pleading for that baby's life for about an hour. I think she went inside. Yeah. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah. So I'm part of Christ Forgiveness Ministries.
Okay.
And it's a worldwide ministry. People know it on YouTube, but so we have one based in New York. But I sent some of the other brethren to one in Queens, and I will come out here to learn from this other group named Love Life. And then you guys happen to be, so that's a blessing.
So how often do you come out?
I come once a week, but not this specific one. But yeah,
you go to the other Planned Parenthood. Mm-hmm. Where is that one again?
Well, there's one in Queens, but we also used to go to one in another part of Queens, Jamaica, Queens, and that one is it's called Choices Women's Medical Center, and that one I've heard is like the third most murderous clinic in the country.
As an African American, we have clinic escorts who are African American. I think the abortionist is African American here. A lot of the staff. I mean, you get a great opportunity to witness to your fellow brothers and sisters. I mean, how does that impact you?
I mean, it impacts me because one, the whole reason why people were sent here to begin with from transatlantic slave trade was due to like, first of all, as cattle and as like a way to depopulate our species in some, or at least our ethnicity. Mm-hmm. And so when I see this happen, it's like, well, you just continuing some
Right.
woman's dream. This is Margaret Sanger right there, and they just ripped. I kid you not. If you look right here, right, maybe you guys already had it.
No,
But
I mentioned it.
but there used to be Margaret Sanger used to be right there for years, and
They
I was
took it
preaching.
off.
I was preaching against it, like pointing at her name, hey, 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 and then all of a sudden when BLM comes and then they start ripping down statues, ripping down Confederates and all that, now they say, oh, she is a racist. It was a cowardly cop out. That's
It was.
everybody knows what.
Right. They need to denounce Margaret Sanger altogether as a racist and denounce her, the founding and Planned Parenthood altogether,
Yeah.
which is still a racist organization, right?
Yeah, and they had these things buried in their site somewhere when they I went to investigate like years before these even happened, and then like all of a sudden now they want to agree with what we've been saying for years, but I'm like,
Well, I mean, it's a good thing, but it's not enough, right?
definitely not.
No,
New York Times put it out and nobody read
There
it.
needs to be a heck of a lot more about that.
Yeah.
Uh-oh. Well, it looks like we got someone trying to tow one of the vans. Planned Parenthood has been calling on us to try to get... Thanks a lot, JD. Planned Parenthood calls to try to get the vans removed, and they've called a tow truck. This is typical stuff. We're trying to keep the truck from being towed. They've also been throwing stuff out of the top windows on our people. So if you pan up, see how tall this building is? From the top of the building, they've been throwing debris on our folks over here as we've been sidewalk counseling. So, I mean, we're finding some opposition here today. All right. Hey, Jeremy, come here a second. All right. Well, this is real quick. So, what's your name?
Jeremy.
All right, Jeremy. You're out here how often?
I usually come here.
Somebody go inside. I don't know if you noticed that.
Oh well, yeah. I come here usually Tuesdays, Thursdays.
And what ministry are you with?
I come out with Love Life people. I'm a member of Bethel Presbyterian Church in Wheaton, Illinois. So I'm outside Chicago for most of the year, but I've been attending church with some of the Love Life people. So yeah, I come out just kind of.
So is there a daily presence out here, pretty much, or no?
Yeah, there's usually a daily presence. Some days are better than others. Some days have more biblical people than others. Yeah.
Well, we appreciate you being out here. Anything we can do to help you.
Yeah. Just please keep praying that this place particularly would shut down. 11,000 babies a year murdered in this one building. Yeah, so please pray for more solid gospel-believing people to come out and join us.
Appreciate it.
All right,
Thanks for being out here. Appreciate it. All right. We're right in the heart of Manhattan. This is a very liberal area, as you can tell. If you pan down here, Christian, this is one of the abortionists at the end of the coming out with the door. He's been coming out taking pictures of us. All right, let's go over here to Violet. Hey, Violet, how you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
So, what's your experience here at Planned Parenthood this morning? How many girls do you think have gone inside?
I've seen like maybe 4 go in. I'm not sure because some of them are going through the door down there. So,
So they send them down the way.
Yeah, especially when we're all kind of crowding the door over here.
Have you had a chance to talk to any of them?
No, I kind of sort of talked to. There was a woman standing right over there in the street for a really long time. She was just crying the entire time, and
I just saw that.
Yeah.
She went inside
She
finally
went inside.
after all
She
of
was-
that.
Yeah, after.
She was crying the whole time.
Yeah, she was crying the whole time. I think she only spoke Spanish. So the girl who was counseling to her, called her mom or something to translate.
Oh, is that what she was doing? I thought it was an app.
No, it was she called her mom to translate what she was saying to Spanish, and I did not think she would end up going in there. So that's really sad. And
Well, she still could come out.
Yeah.
It's not too late. Well, we appreciate being Violet. Let's come over here, Christian. Let's listen in on Maya talking to one of the clinic escorts.
You guys don't genuinely care about human equality because you are standing outside these doors. It's like standing outside of a death camp during the Holocaust. But even more babies have been killed by this. Hi, ma'am. You're here for abortion. There are people who adopt babies.
All right. Maya's counselor. I don't know. You do what you can. You can plead with them to take the information and stop. I want to interview Maya for a second. Hey, Maya, you've been here all morning.
Yeah.
How many girls have gone in? You know?
Maybe like 10 so far.
Has anyone stopped? I know there was a
Yeah.
young lady here stopped for a while.
She ended up going in though, but no, nobody's really talked to us. They just kind of go in. Yeah, it's really heavy. It's very crazy to be outside of this because I think they do like they own the whole building.
Yeah.
So that's insane. In Columbus, it's not like that at all.
Yeah.
Just one story in a little building, but
Well, we appreciate your boldness. I've been watching. You've been doing a great job, and you're witnessing to the clinic escorts. What do you say to them? Because they've heard it before, probably, but you keep preaching to them. What do you usually tell them?
Well, I try to tell them because a lot of times there are people who say they care about human equality when in reality they do not. Because this place used to be called the Margaret Sanger Center. They might have talked about this already before, but Margaret Sanger was a racist who believed in eugenics, wanted to kill off the black population. And these people, they'd probably say that Black Lives Matter. They probably say they care about women's rights. They don't care about them because I've told them the truth. And yet I've told them that, 50% of the babies aborted are females. Planned Parenthood targets black neighborhoods. Abortion not only hurts women emotionally and spiritually, but oftentimes physically. Women are left, 6 times more likely to commit suicide, higher rate of risk of breast cancer. But yeah,
and half the baby, there are more babies killed by abortion in New York City than are born.
I forgot about that. I did not mention that, but that would be a good thing to mention. And I always try to remind them of the gospel. Like, I'm not judging them because I would also be going to hell if I wasn't saved by Jesus. And I preach them, through faith alone, we can be saved in Christ. But yeah, I try to share that. But who knows? We just have to pray that their hearts are softened and they listen.
What would you say to the people that are listening that for the first time have become aware of the fact that, the Planned Parenthood is a thing, abortion's happening day in, day out in America. This is a tragedy what's happening here today, but it's happening all across America. There are 2,300 babies being killed today, unfortunately. What would you say to them?
Well, I know when I would drive past an abortion facility by my house before I got involved in all the pro-life stuff. What I did, make sure you always go outside. If you want to, I'd recommend sidewalk counseling. If you go out, though, make sure you go with another person because people can be very violent sometimes and hostile towards you.
But why should they come out altogether? What's the reason?
To advocate, to be a voice for the babies that are being murdered, to try to share the truth with
and they can make a difference, right? I mean,
yes.
we've recently had children saved from the Planned Parenthood.
Last week, I was at Planned Parenthood in Columbus, and a woman was wanting to get an abortion because she had miscarriages before, and she didn't want to go through that pain again. But me and another girl on staff, Lizbeth, talked to her, and we're saying, we'll walk alongside you. There are people who will help you financially. And she ended up saying, you guys are angels, and we've kept in contact with her, and she decided that she's going to keep her baby.
Well, the fact of the matter is you can save a life. I mean, think about that. You can have the impact of saving another person from death.
I've only been doing this for less than a year, and I've seen babies saved already.
I mean, short of people coming to Christ.
Yeah.
I mean, this is the second row. It's very important that we help people not kill each other, right? I mean, we're intervening on their behalf, and you can actually save a life. And it changes you forever, right? I mean, the fact that you had something to do with a baby being spared by abortion, right? I mean, the experience for you.
Yeah, it's definitely in the moment. It's something you just feel a great sense of joy, of course, but also just honor and,
that God you use that.
Gratitude that God would use me because I know I'm such a sinner and I don't know why he would use me. So that it's just, yeah.
Well, I know why. Because you're saved by grace. You're a child of Christ. That's why. So we keep up the good work up here. We don't let a woman go inside without being spoken to, hopefully. And by the witness here, folks, thanks a lot, Maya. Appreciate it. The witness, folks, we do use the abortion victim photography. This here is an African-American baby. Here comes someone right now. Just race them inside. Unfortunately. So we use abortion victim photography. We'll see you, JD. Out front of the abortion centers because we believe that young lady, that young man raced right in here, and maybe the only thing that they're going to get is these abortion images because they didn't stop to speak with us. So most of the women that go inside, the parents that go inside an abortion center, don't stop to talk to counselors. And because they don't stop to talk to counselors, you've got to give them something to think about. And these visual aids do that because they're like a data compression device. They distill down a very complex message at a glance. Somebody can figure out what abortion is just by looking at the photos. And a lot of times they're not going to be able to get those out of their heads. And that's the idea, that they're inside, they've seen these. These will hopefully prevent them from killing their babies. So we're big advocates of using visuals out front of abortion centers. So once again, we're at the Planned Parenthood of Manhattan, which was formerly called the Margaret Sanger Center. They took down the sign that said that. Unfortunately, they haven't taken down the Margaret Sanger Square sign from the city. Hopefully that's going to be happening soon. So folks, if you want to comment on our Facebook page, go ahead and add a comment. We'll reply to that. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns about what we're doing here, you're interested in Created Equal, let us know. We'd be happy to give you the resources you need to come out here and do this very thing that we're doing here in Planned Parenthood. So here, turn around, Christian. So this young man just dropped off someone, his girlfriend, possibly. That's the problem. Partly, they talk about this being a woman's issue. It's not a woman's issue. This is a man's issue too. If men owned up, if they manned up, abortions would be cut in half, because women are looking for men to lead. Women should be protectors of children and women. And often the men just get a free ride, a free pass. They write the check, they give her the money, they tell her to go take care of it, and they continue on taking advantage of women sexually, and it just continues on and on and on. That's why we got to be calling men to a higher standard. Men typically want to be leaders. They want to lead. They want to protect. That's a God-given characteristic of men. God's given them that. And we need to call on men to stand up, take up the fight, be warriors in the battle on abortion. And so men can have a big role out here, and we just interviewed 2 of them. So, all right, Mark Harrington here, coming from the Planned Parenthood in Manhattan. Be praying for us today. We're going to be heading out soon for our urban outreach in one of the busy places in New York City, and it's busy all over. And then we'll be heading down to do an Operation Overpass event later today. So if you want, go ahead and go to our website at Created Equal. Make sure you comment on our Facebook page as well, and we'll be coming to you tomorrow from Times Square. So keep following us on our social media, and thanks for tuning in. God bless.